and create a healthy and positive environment. Now today is all about excuse me. It's all about the yarn. We're going to talk today. We're not going to talk about yarn, but what we're going to talk about is start a series on levels, skill levels, crochet levels, and we're going to discuss that. And today is, are you a beginner? Do you consider yourself a beginner? Are you an absolute beginner and want to learn? So we're going to talk about what constitutes a person being a beginner. And if you have any insight, let me know. Hey Karen, how you doing? What's your skill level? What do you consider yourself to be? With me, I'm not sure. I'm not a beginner, so it's probably in between the you're a little bit beginner. And why do you consider yourself a beginner? What is the reason why you think you're a beginner? Because when I looked it up in my research, beginner and easy, and that goes for patterns and whatnot. And that if you get a pattern, sometimes on patterns they'll say who it's for. If it's geared for beginner, intermediate, experienced, can't do designs. But the designs, I don't think. And next week, I'm going to go over the next level. I think that's intermediate. I don't think that the designs make a difference. It's just dealing with stitches. Now, beginner, um, to be a beginner, is the introductory stitches, which was the single, the double, the half double, the triple, slip knots, chain stitches, slip stitches. And you do simple increases and decreases, minimal shaping. And some of the stitches that you can do, you will do are things like the V stitch or the shell stitch. So those are some characteristics of being a beginner. And if you know more than those stitches and you can do other things, then you're fine. You are you can be an intermediate or whatever's next. I think it's 5 levels, I believe. So it doesn't because I don't do designs. I mean, I not right at the moment. I don't. That's something I'm going to learn. I know I'm not an expert, but well, I mean, I can be an expert in certain things, but to me, but technically, I don't certain things, certain skills that I don't do. I mean, I haven't done, and that comes with being it's very subjective of how what the characteristics are, and everybody thinks certain things about themselves when they think about being a beginner. Hey, Carol, how are you? What's your skill level? Hi, Mish, 222. Well, thank you for saying that. But there are things that I need to learn that I want to do, and one is the what you call it doing the graph GANs. I've started, and I think I got the concept, but I don't know how to. I haven't mastered how to actually make the design. I have a pattern that someone gave me to do, and so I follow this pattern to do the graph GAN, but I'm not sure about how to do it myself, and that's something I want to do. Um, and there's some stitches that I've done in the past that, like the Tunisian crochet, is one. Yeah, and we do all keep learning, and that's what makes you better. Um, so like I say, it's really hard sometimes with getting that level, getting your levels, because it's what you think you are, and that's what I've come to know. If you think you're an expert, then you are. Who's to say you're not? But and you can also be expert in certain things. You can be an expert in certain stitches. You may be an expert in doing certain types of things. And there are people that are experts at doing the graph gains. They've been doing very well. So you can look at it that way. But I the Tunisian is something that I want to get back to doing. Now I have knowledge of it, but but by me not doing it in so long. I did it back in the I think 70s or 80s when they called it it had another name to it. It was called the Afghan stitch. That's how we knew it back then. And I did it then, but I have not done it in years. So that's something I want to get back to doing. And if you have knowledge of different things, then your level will raise up. Hey, your level will raise up. And as I said earlier, oh really? Okay, thank you for telling me. And as I said earlier, for the beginner, what what characteristics of a beginner is introductory stitches, slip knots, single, double. You don't have half double, but half double stitches, chain stitches, slip stitches, simple increases and decreases, and minimal shaping. Yeah, your name does show up. Your name shows up, and the person before you is also on there with you. Her name showed up too. So I don't. I think you may be registered or something with. You may have subscribed, I think, and your name would show up. But your name did show up, Carol. But some people's names don't. I don't know what the deal is with that. But we're just talking about your skill level. What skill level do you think you are? And today we're talking about beginners. Are you a beginner or not? And some people will say they're beginners, but they're clearly not beginners because they know other things and they can do other things. And just because you don't do designs or do fancy things, you're not necessarily a beginner. And also, I don't think it also it doesn't depend on how many years you've been crocheting. Because I think you can be crocheting. Thank you. It's a Bernat blanket yarn. It just depends on what you're doing and how skilled you are. But so Karen, you consider yourself a beginner. Okay. Now, Carol, what do you consider yourself? And next week we'll talk about the advanced beginner. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, because I was hoping that you wasn't gonna say beginner. So yeah, yeah, I can see that. If you're gonna do the beginner, advanced beginner, yeah. And I think a lot of us are advanced beginners because we're not new to it. We do know a lot of stuff about it, but we still are not what you would say um, expert. But I mean, some of us can still put ourselves in the category of intermediate too. And next week we'll talk about I think it's intermediate next. Let's see. I'm gonna have to do that and see which one next week that will do. But the next one, next level will be next week, and we'll go over what that constitutes. Because even though, like with patterns, if I buy a pattern, or get a pattern in a magazine or whatever, it always tells you the level on it. But you can challenge yourself with that because a lot of times that's not made in stone either. You can, it may say expert, it may say advanced, or whatever the next skill is. But it's not, like as I say, it's not made in stone, so you can do that. Also, for beginners, if you are an absolute beginner, yeah, that might do that. I mean, that might make sense because, and the way I think about it in some cases is you may be people are different levels in different skills. Okay, yeah, because I mean, it takes a lot of skill to make a doll, and also I think people who don't follow patterns that they go into a different category too. If you don't follow a pattern at all, or occasionally, but some of us, I follow patterns most of the time, but I always put my own twist into it. I mean, do something myself, especially after I've mastered that pattern, and that's what I do. That I'll take a pattern and if I keep doing it, it's like second nature to me. Then I'll just do things my way, how I want to do it. But I just wanted to know, what do y'all think your levels are, and just discuss that. Also with that, I think it's beginner and easy, but then it's also the level before that to me is the absolute beginner, which is the one who doesn't know anything, and they fall into a certain category. That category. So, but if you are a beginner and you're somebody just starting out, hello, One Flesh Creations. How are you today? What is if you crochet? What is your level? Your skill level? Let's talk about it. And what was I saying? I always lose my train of thought. But also, if you are new trying to learn how to crochet, absolute beginner, not a beginner that knows how to crochet, but a beginner that knows nothing about it, and just a straight up beginner. These are some things that I, I would express to you to do when you first start your project. Is yarn. You have to make sure you get the right types of yarn. Um, One thing is, and this is my own opinion, is do not use on your first project or when you're first starting out. Don't use dark yarn. No black. No navy blue. Well, maybe navy blue may work, but black is hard. It's hard enough for people who have crocheted for years, and so black. Try not to get black yarn on your first project. Also, don't get even though they're nice and pretty and exciting, specialty yarns. Don't get those at first. What you can do is you can get each brand, each store has a signature yarn. It has a basic yarn that anybody can use. It's the acrylic yarn. Red Heart has one, Super Savers, then this Mainstay that's in Walmart, and maybe other stores too, I don't know. Then they have the Big Twist and Loops and Threads, I think it's one too. Hey, Knit Pearl Inspiring More, how are you today? And I think it's more than that. I think that's it. Loops and Threads, Big Twist, and Hobby Lobby has another one. Besides Loops and Hobby Lobby has one too. I don't know the name of it. That to me is really, really good if you shop at Hobby Lobby. It is really, I like the feel of it. It's really nice compared to Super Saver. But for beginners, if you're an absolute beginner, um, oh, Knit Pearl Inspires and More, what level are you? What skill level do you consider yourself as? I love this yarn. Okay, I've never used that, but I hear that it's a good yarn to use. But this one, Hobby Lobby has. I don't know if it's I love this yarn or not, but it comes really in big skeins, and it's kind of like the Super Saver. But to me, it feels different. Because when I buy stuff from Hobby Lobby, I buy one here. If it catches my eye, I'll buy it. If they had that 30% off, I may buy one skein just to try it out. And this one I bought to make that Afghan with, and it felt really good. Yeah, that's what it is. It's Crafters something. No, no, wait. Crafters is that's the cotton one though. I thought I know I have some of those that are cotton. It was Crafters something, but it might be. But I know when I go in, they're always on the when you first go into the aisle, they're right there, and they have a lot of them, and they come in big skeins. And and it just feels good. And I think that's gonna be my go-to from now on. Is that particular yarn? But yeah, you gotta make sure you have the right yarn to start your initial project and get the right hook. Yeah, don't get with the yarn and the hook. It has to be comparable. Okay. This one I think it's acrylic. And I don't think I have the tag to it, but I really like it. I'll look it up later. Um, yeah, because when you look on the package, you will see the what hook is comparable. My go tos are um F FGHI, and it's one called number seven. It doesn't have any kind of alphabet to it. It's just a seven, and those are the ones I mostly use. But yeah, they do. Yeah, Karen does. They um they have those. I mean those hooks, and my go to is like a H. Most time when I'm doing stuff, it's most times an H. So when you're learning how to crochet, the H hook and that regular yarn is all you would need to start in the beginning. You'll need scissors, other things, but those pretty much are only thing you need. Now projects for beginners, for absolute beginners, I suggest because when I teach anyone, I teach you how to do the chain, and that's make sure you know how to do that chain. Is the important part of it. And I just do a basic chain. So for beginners who have no knowledge of crochet, that's good. And doing a placemat, um, dishcloth, anything that's flat and square, those are good things to enforce your stitches and to learn how to do it. Then you can branch off to a hat. When I learned how to crochet many moons ago, I learned how to make doilies, which was kind of complicated, but that's how I learned with the little small little hook. And then I learned how to make hats and everything else. So I went to that level, and then I went down to doing other things because I wanted to learn more. So I went and bought patterns or what books that had patterns in them and made things out of one of those patterns. So I pretty much taught myself how to read patterns. But those are what you need for crocheting in the beginning when you start out. That's how I started out. So if you're a beginner and you don't know how to crochet, but you want to learn, that's what the supplies you would need. Then you can branch off into other things. So we are changing our schedules on what we on how we do things. But from now on, we're gonna still be on Instagram and Facebook, maybe Twitter on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But we're gonna also do the YouTubes are gonna be more separate than the Facebook and Instagram. And on YouTube, it'll be more focused on beginners and learning and beginning and even intermediate. So that would be the focus. Hey, Creations by Kay, how are you today? So it'll be more focused on beginning crochet and then branch off to other things too. But that's and be more tutorial based. Will be on YouTube. So we'll start that hopefully this week. We will start with that part of it. And for YouTube, we are looking for people to follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, not follow. Subscribe to us on YouTube at and hook, we are hooked for you on YouTube. So we're looking for right now. We're looking for 500 subscribers. Okay, and if we reach 500, the 500th person will receive a gift from me. It'll be a surprise. I'm not gonna tell you what you'll get, but it'll be nice. So, oh, okay. So you started using your measuring tape now. That's good. I mean, really, 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 that is great. Thank you for coming, Karen. See you next time. But we will be doing more stuff on YouTube. So, as I said, we if you are the 500th person, we will you will get a gift. So we're looking for people to subscribe to our YouTube page because it'll be different things on there than you will see on Facebook or you'll see on Instagram. So anyone else want to share what their level is and how they came to that conclusion? Because that's kind of a tough thing. People think that there are certain things that people may berate them and say, "Oh no, you're not this," and we need to hold ourselves to what we think we are. If we think we are an expert, okay, why can't I be? No one can take that away from you. But there are, I'm going over to some guidelines on what is considered these levels and such. So we talked about the levels of of being a beginner. A beginner who, and I'm talking about a beginner who knows how to crochet and what their characteristics are. We talked about if you want to learn how to crochet, what you need to know, what you need to learn, I mean, what you need to have. We talked about the hook, we talked about the yarn. No, no, please, no black yarn. Um, until you become really good at it and just can feel your stitches, it's not wise to get black unless you use, if you want to use a light or something to see. But black is really hard to see sometimes. So use like an H hook. I recommend H hooks. H or number 7. Get the basic yarn. Uh, nothing that's too soft, nothing that's too thin, nothing that's too thick. You just want a regular yarn. As I said, the acrylic is okay, and it's inexpensive, and it's just fine to use to begin. Because sometimes when you begin something, you still ain't sure if you really want to go through with it or really do it. So investing a whole lot of money may not be a good thing at times. So acrylic yarn is one of the most inexpensive of yarns. So it's good to get that, and nothing that has speckles in it and all kinds of fancy stuff. And until you learn, just get one project out of the way first. Then you can just go ahead and get some other ones you may try because I know it looks good. It excites you, the colors maybe or the design. But when you're first learning, you have to start slow. Okay. So feel free. We're on right now. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube. Feel free to follow, like, comment, share, subscribe, depending on which site you're on. We're on Instagram, actual Instagram, and we're on the other ones through Haps TV. And you can just go on Haps TV and watch us also. And that's a multi screen streaming service. So we offer classes. So and right now we're just going to do the online. We're doing online classes. So we're going to do some classes through YouTube, tutorials through YouTube. Agnostic these. I'm talking about crochet. Um, we like I said, we offer classes. We donate to charity. So if you know of any group that needs any items, let us know. Right now we have some baby blankets that we can donate to some charity. If anyone knows of one, let us know and we'll get the information and send it to them. And we meet every other week, every other Saturday, and discuss crochet and things, and while we crochet and talk about different things. But that's not what I'm talking about. I don't know. I mean, I don't talk. I don't discuss things like that. Okay, okay. Anyway, the get me off track. But we do 3 things. We are 3 tiered. We offer classes, one-on-one, group classes. We do it online. Right now, we don't do any face-to-face classes because of the pandemic, so we don't do that. But we have classes online. And as I said earlier, we're going to have some tutorials on YouTube. We we donate to charity, and we've donated to cancer causes and such, and we're branching out to other causes. And we're looking for people to join us in making items for charity. So if you're interested in making items and donating them, let us know. If you don't have yarn, we also have yarn because we have yarn that's donated to us. So we have yarn that if you want to participate but don't have yarn or can spare, to use your own yarn, we have yarn that's earmarked for that. So if you're interested in that, let us know. Use your email address. If and we also make unique items. We don't do a lot of custom made, but we make items, items for inventory, and some things. If someone asks for something, we'll make it. But we do those things. We teach, we donate, and we sell. So until on Wednesday, we're gonna do another stitch. We'll learn a stitch. So we're gonna get back into learning new stitches. And so on Wednesday we will be learning new stitch, and we'll talk about what's on our hooks. It's on my hook Wednesday. So we'll discuss what's on our hooks while we while we also learn new stitch. So until Wednesday, be safe and have a creative day. Bye.